In terms of fishing, the deep ocean is plagued by a highly destructive practice, which is called deep sea bottom trawling, which drags heavy steel plates and heavy fishing gear across the seabed, destroying cold water corals, deep sea sponges, and other habitat forming species that support the biodiversity, much of the biodiversity in the deep sea. This practice is used to catch highly vulnerable fish in the deep ocean, such as orange roughy, which live at 1,000 meters depth and can live up to 200 years old, as well as round-nosed grenadiers in the Northeast Atlantic, which are listed as endangered by the International Union for the Conservation of Nature because of overexploitation from fisheries. Moreover, these fisheries often target seamounts, underwater mountains which are biodiversity hotspots in the ocean where the fish often congregate. Another direct and imminent threat is posed by the emerging industry of deep sea bed mining. This is an industry which, if allowed, will seriously harm an environment that we barely know much about and which could potentially drive species to extinction even before we know that they exist. This activity, currently in the exploration phase, will involve strip mining areas of the deep sea so vast they will dwarf any mining activity seen on land and with equal, if not greater, destruction. The mining companies themselves and the states pursuing this activity are attracted by the potential for huge profits. But to justify what they plan to do, they argue that the world needs the cobalt, the nickel, the manganese, and the other metals that would be mined in the deep ocean for the technology industry and for the renewable energy industries. But this simply is not true. The threat of deep sea bed mining is imminent, with the move to turn exploration into exploitation likely to occur within the next several years in the international waters of the ocean. A regulatory body called the International Seabed Authority was established under the Law of the Sea Convention to manage mining in the international areas of the deep ocean. They are preparing the rules and regulations that would allow mining to begin. At the UN Biodiversity Summit, we heard many world leaders commit to actions to halt the loss of biodiversity on the planet, recognizing we're in a biodiversity crisis as well as a climate crisis, and we need to take action now. Yet, if the countries that are members of the ISA, and there are 167 of them, the same that are at the United Nations, decide to open the deep sea to mining, they will be opening a whole new frontier of biodiversity loss in our oceans. We need to hold our leaders accountable to the pledges they have made to all of us. For this reason, the Deep Sea Conservation Coalition is calling for a moratorium on deep sea bed mining. We're calling on the nations of the world to put a halt to the process of opening up the ocean to deep sea bed mining. We don't want it, we don't need it, and it isn't worth the risk given what we know now about what the impacts are likely to be.